Welcome to the Pop-Off with Gene FitzMagic and friends. Your daily sports and entertainment radio show, live all over the world. You're going to want to hear what these guys have to say. With their hot takes, recaps, previews, and predictions, sometimes these guys might get along, but most times, they won't. So see what happens when these guys pop off about the world of sports and entertainment.
What's up? Welcome to another episode of the Pop-Off. Gene FitzMagic, Caleb Pinkett, Nigel Downer. What's up, fellas?
Yeah, what's going on, mans?
I love the hat for today, which is opening day of NFL football. You got the NFL logo. Please tell everybody about this one.
I will. This is just the most generic football hat. I have a couple league hats that just have like a league on them. So today's feature, obviously the NFL, because we are kicking it off tonight. It's a very, very big and fun game, which is the early game, the only game. So it's, I believe, the Chiefs and Detroit, right? Is that right? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's very weird to have those teams combat on a Thursday on an opener, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
So this hat, very special to me, all black, but it's like gold threaded embroidered there. The NFL logo. So it's a very hot hat. There you go. And it's actually a snapback, which is rare for me, right? You got some black guts there, and you got the black on the brim. I always keep my sticker on there just because I'm a nerd. And this hat I got when they did it was a huge kickoff to the NFL season. This was Steelers Ravens, I believe. I can't remember the date, but I do remember that is the day I met Mr. Jerome the Bus Bettis. I met him for the first time.
Was it a letdown?
No, it was everything opposite, my guy. I almost cried. He is one of the most humblestness. He's like so humble and he's so gracious. He was such a lovely human being. And he let me try on one of the rings, which I will never forget to this day. And
really
massive miss. He has a huge hands. Like he's massive, this guy.
I loved him at Notre Dame, not so much in Pitt.
Yeah, well, of course he did. That's
so
you, man.
He was there for some heartbreaking losses for me. So.
Yeah. But you know what? He did it right, though. Bettis did it right. As soon as he won that chip, he was like, peace, I'm out. Retirement. Done. Like, that's, guys, what are we coming back for? You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, anyway, so this is a very special hat to me. I don't wear it very often, but because it's just an opening day for me, my Steelers aren't playing until Sunday. I'm like, you know what? Let's just throw it down.
I love it. Now, besides congratulating all of us football fans for the start of a new season, we also need to congratulate Nick Bosa, who just signed a multi-mega deal. I believe he's the richest, or he's now the highest paid non-quarterback in the league. I know Patty's got some of the stuff for it. What do you think about this contract, man? Like, it had to get done, right?
Yeah. It without a doubt, it had to get done. And this is one of those things where it's very cliche. It was only a matter of time, but time was creeping up, and it was like, who's gonna budge first? And as the organization, I was like, all right, man, let's just do. Actually, we don't even know how it went down. To be honest,
yeah, that's true. They actually, for a holdout, it was actually really peacefully orchestrated. Usually, you hear some cantankerous words on one side or the other. This was like, it was a holdout, but it was like almost like a very polite holdout.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't no like talking on either side. No, I'm not coming up to camp. And he just says, I'm just going to stay away till we get this deal done.
Yeah.
You guys know what I want. And when we meet somewhere where what's acceptable for both of us, we'll have a deal. It was one of the weirdest holdouts because it didn't feel like your typical cantankerous holdout.
Yeah, it was very amicable. Like it was just very nice. Like,
and maybe that's why they got a deal done. I mean, listen, he's super important to that defense. Listen, do they have stars all over that defense even without him? Yes, they do. But do they need him? Yes, they do. If they have chances, if they want that chance of the Super Bowl ring this year, Sam Darnold can't do it by himself. They need somebody on defense to do it for him. So we need him. As Caleb pointed out this morning, we saw a big Damian Wudi, saying that Sam Darnold, more people on that Sam Darnold bus. Let's come on over.
Look, I gotta stop you. I gotta stop. This is so crazy to me. This is
if it happens. Every week, it seems like there's another person that joins the club. Every week.
So crazy to me, man, that you threw his name out there on a whim. I mean, you had some good justification for it. You threw it out there like months ago, man, and we all laughed our asses off. I think we were laughing for at least 2 weeks after that. And then it just keeps coming back, and I'm shocked. I hope this works out, not only for Darnold but for you. Like I hope that he crushes it for real. I do.
I hope so. Listen, he's one spot away from that taking over that team. So we'll see. Not that I say I want to see anything happen to Brock Purdy, but I do want to see Sam Darnold fulfill his destiny of a highly drafted quarterback coming into the league and not really being able to pan out at the stops he was at before this. But back to Nick Bosa. How important is this Nick Bosa signing to you, Caleb?
Well, before I get into Nick Bosa, I just want to say, because I didn't say it on Tuesday, I just want to give Steve Harwell and his family a condolences for Steve's passing. He was the lead singer of Smash Mouth when I was a teenager in high school. I loved Smash Mouth. I'm into all different types of music, and All Star was like a great record that I liked. And of course, I'm a believer their re-rendition of that blew up through Shrek, and the lead singer Steve just passed away. So I just want to give a shout out to his family and condolences and rest in peace. Okay, now that is out the way, Mr. Bosa, right? Listen, it's amazing, and this really helped. This messed the Chiefs up, because now they got to come out the pocket because Chris is like, oh, that's what he got. Oh, come on now, 122 guaranteed, $122 million guaranteed. So he's gonna want something around that. You know what I mean? And he may want it. He may want something. He may want 123 million. You know how that be. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's now that changed their whole thing. And because the 49ers did it, like, without breaking a sweat, like, it's now the Chiefs have to pay him. Like, that's just what it's going to be.
That's a great point. Does it mean that he gets more than Nick Bosa, though? Is he better than Nick Bosa?
It depends because what they're going to look at, like, he may not have 15 plus sacks in the past 2 seasons, right? Like every season, and a defensive player of the year, but he is for that team. See, that's the thing. It's like, you can't be looking at what happens over there in San Francisco in not Mile High, but in Arrowhead Stadium. He may be like, he's that big of a difference maker. ESPN had his stats up, like the defense with him in versus the defense with him out, right? Yeah. And it's a completely different defense. See, you got to consider that might be worth $120 million. That might, you know what I mean? Like whatever that number is. So, and defensive linemen, Chris is pretty healthy. He's not out a lot. Like, I think they're going to have to do something. I know he's going to get $100 million guaranteed. That's without question. You know what I mean? So, yeah, so that's already, there. So any thoughts of 80, 85 million is no longer in the conversation. They're going to have to break 100, and most likely more than what Bosa got, because that's what happens. Like, they set the market.
The bar.
Then the next dude after him. Then the next dude, because Aaron Donald. Bosa got more than Aaron Donald. You know what I mean?
Highest paid non-quarterback.
There it is. So it's just that's just what happens. It's like, there's going to be, in the next 2 seasons, there'll be 2 other defensive dudes making more money than Bosa, right? But Bosa said it, so now it's just going to keep going. So it's bad news for the Chiefs, because they're going to have to pay that dude now. So if they didn't have the money and that's why they didn't want to, or whatever they're trying to do, they're going to end up losing them, and then they're done. And they're going to be done. They might lose to the Lions tonight if Mr. Kelsey don't play, because the Lions ain't playing.
It'll make it tough. It'll make it tough.
Playing. Like, that's what I'm saying. And you don't have him to help stop that running back and to stop their offense. Look, that's what I mean. So, so they're gonna have to pay that man. And he should send Bosa a gift. He should send him something.
I think if I'm the Chiefs, see, I don't think he's worth the same as Bosa. I think Bosa is a bigger draw. I think Bosa.
Well, he's in a different position. He's
not by much. And Chris, and I know Chris is Jones' defensive tackle, right? But that's also part of it. Defensive tackles should not be making more than edge rushers. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I would say at this point, okay, now we know where the ceiling is. It's got to be somewhere under that.
He'll make $100 million guaranteed.
Oh, I think he'll make the $100 million. He'll make the $100 million for sure. And he's earned that.
9 figures. Like,
He's
think
earned
about that. Well, I'm just saying, as a defensive tackle, $100 million. Like, he's gonna set the record for that position, guaranteed. Right? He's gonna get more than what Aaron Donald got, because I think Aaron Donald is a defensive tackle as well.
Yes,
isn't he? Yes, he's gonna get more than Aaron Donald. Absolutely. And the Bosa thing does help him because, it's position specific. We understand that, like the difference between quarterbacks and everybody else. But at the same time, the impact. He's your best defensive player. You don't have a defensive end like Bosa. You don't have a Sauce Gardner as your corner. You don't, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He is that. And you see what your defense is without him, and you see what it is with him. That means I want 120. You're going to have to pay him that. Or close to it, or let him go, and somebody else gets him. He go to the Chargers. Now y'all done. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what could happen. Like, I'm telling you, you can't, like, these players have so much more power now than what they used to.
My T is here. Hold on a second. Where's my sleeve? They didn't give me a sleeve, so now I gotta burn my hands.
I think the real question is though, what kind of tea do you have?
Didn't put my lavender in here? Oh my god!
Yeah, where's my?
I said a splash of milk. Take this back,
honey, or is this from endangered bees? I would like to know because I'm not drinking that.
They thought I was complaining about the tea. I'm not complaining about the tea. So all right, so from one high paid player to maybe one that's not as well deserved of a high player. Let's talk a little bit about Dak Prescott.
If you want.
Who set a precedence for quarterbacks years ago as well? That he got like 90 million guaranteed. Everyone was like, "What the hell?" Right? Like now it just and like to me, I don't think Dak is worth more than what he's getting paid. I don't think he's worth that. To be honest, because they don't win enough.
Well, here's a good question: is this his last chance in Dallas?
If they do bad. If he wets the bed, as Stephen A. Smith said the other day, I think it will be that, because Jerry is old. He wants to see a chip before he dies. Okay, he wants to see it in his lifetime. I think if Dak messes up again, like if he has another playoff performance, because I think they make the play. If they don't make the playoffs, he's absolutely
out.
Done,
yeah,
right. But I think they make the playoffs. If he wets the bed, I'm talking 2-3 picks or just one interception at the time when you please don't do it, and you do, and the other team wins, I think he's done.
Nigel, do you think he even finishes the season?
I do. I'll tell you why. Because and shout out to the defactor. I just found this. Just found this article. I think he finishes the season because the headline is Dak Prescott finally ready to win a Super Bowl after learning tactical breathing maneuvers from ex-Navy SEALs.
Oh,
so now he can breathe.
This is like Tua getting the falling lessons.
That's exactly that.
Man,
now
better watch out.
Yeah,
Dak
he's ready now. Yeah, he's ready. He can breathe properly. Man. He's got breathing maneuvers. You know what I mean? Listen, haven't read the article, so I'm not sure how legit this is or not. But I do think that he survives the season. Physically, I just mentally, I don't know what that looks like, because I think it's two very different things. I think mentally as a player and kind of piggybacking off of what Caleb was saying, it's like this guy this might be his year to audition for other teams. Yeah. This whether contractually or not, this might be a year for him to be like, listen, I just got to do the best I can, because I don't know if I can't come out of this season with coming out of the first week of playoffs, like this guy, it's gonna be a problem. Yeah, it's gonna be a problem for him. For sure.
Is he a starter in the league after this year if he doesn't make it with the Cowboys?
Yeah, he played Arizona.
You talking about your Super Bowl champs? That was Nigel's pick, everybody. Minnesota. Get
out of here.
You picked Minnesota to come out the NFC. And
I did 100%.
Listen, they were 13-4 last year. It could happen. It could happen.
Yeah.
Stranger things have happened. Sam Darnold is going to win the MVP, Super Bowl champ. You know what I mean?
And he's like, listen, maybe Sam Darnold gets to the NFC Championship game and they just miss out because they lose to a red hot Minnesota team. We both might be kind of right with that.
Well, I bet you this. Either one, both of them going to beat Dallas.
Most likely.
Yeah, but all jokes aside, though, but like in all seriousness, I think I do believe it. I don't. I think outside of an NFC Championship appearance, because he can get to there and lose. Like nobody's gonna be too mad if he lost in the NFC Championship, right?
He's gonna win a playoff
game.
At
least they got it there, right? It's losing in a divisional round or not
or wild card.
Or oh God. Oh jeez. Oh, we're talking.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, a wild disaster.
Like, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
That's a wrap. Like he's absolutely done after that. So he's under a lot of pressure. And it's not unfair because it's the team you're on. It's like when you play for Dallas or like, a team that's expected to do well, you're going to have that pressure. You can't go to the Yankees thinking we just going to phone it in. It's like, no, they expect a lot. They overpay you. And in that, they expect a lot. So,
that's true.
If you don't want that, go play for the Twins. You know what I'm saying? Or the National. But it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. And it's crazy to think of like how historic this franchise is. And Dak's been playing since 2016. And so he's been given a lot of leeway. You know what I mean? And now I'm shocked that he's kind of lasted this long.
Well, wait, let me say this. I'd say he got a lot of leeway from the fans and from the media, not so much from
yes.
The
so
rest
that
of the
was
league, because the league loves to hate on the Cowboys.
Yeah, 100%. And that was kind of my next point is that thinking about how gaudy their stadium is, how high end or like how hard to impress their fan base is. Like there's a lot of things that go along with being a Cowboys supporter. You know what I mean? And so to have and Caleb was just saying like it's you could equate them to the Yankees in terms of just that kind of status. That status, right? So for real, man, like Dak has really got to put in. Yeah, he's got to put in the work. Like it's again all seriousness. Like up front, he has to do the thing. They have to go past round one. They have to dominate this season. Like it's got to be almost out the gate. They just have to dominate and just show people that they're for real.
What happens if he goes out there, throws 2 picks, loses to the Giants opening night?
Oh gosh. My guy.
Oh, it's going to be called for his head. It's going to be bad. It's going to be
And that's
bad.
why I say, like, he has a couple of those games. He might not finish the season as the quarterback.
That's very true.
It's not inconceivable to think that this kid doesn't finish the season as the starter. If he does what he did last year, there's going to come a point where I'll tell you what else. If he does what he did last year, where he gets hurt, misses 5 games, and the guy who replaces him goes 4-1, you might see that kid stay in. Whoever replaces him
he did that last year.
But that's what I'm saying. And they went right. It was Cooper
Rush.
The
redhead dude.
Cooper Rush, and they went right back to Dak. That might not happen this year. This year that happens, they might not go back to Dak. They might stay with the hot end.
And well, hey, listen, and Jerry, he don't care no more. And I think to Nigel's point, when he was talking about Dak getting leeway, Dak got leeway because he's Negro, because he's half black and he's half Mexican. So you got both of the biggest minority groups in the United States all into one dude. And no. During the time of the wokeness, right? Jerry Jones is an old white man. He don't want to look like, oh, you just getting rid of you just trashed the brother to the side. He do it back. I'm serious. Like, y'all think I'm playing. Like, that kind of stuff is there, especially with that picture coming out with Jerry.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
All of that. Like, I'm telling you, Jerry's like, ooh.
It's
and
tough.
I'm not saying, and I don't think Jerry's racist at all. I'm not even putting that on him. What I'm saying is there's a look, and there'll be a lot of bad press had he benched or got rid of that 2 or 3 seasons ago. There would have been pundits on ESPN and Fox Sports and all that saying Jerry did that because he ain't gonna let the black man, he had Romo for all these years who didn't do nothing but the black man. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Well, I'll tell you what, and if that would have happened then the picture comes out, then the picture comes out.
Oh, they'd have been calling that Jerry got to sell the team.
Yeah.
Roger Goodell would have had to go over there and say, Jerry, you know me, I wouldn't even trip. Man.
Your impression of Goodell is spot on. Like, Jerry, man.
I gotta let you go. You got to go.
Yeah. I don't want to. Hey, I think
you have to tell Dan. He said, "Come on."
Listen, it's happened in the NBA. It's happened in the NBA a couple of times, man. It could happen.
No, of course it could. So to my point, I believe, I'm not saying it's all of that, but I do believe it had something to do with it. I'm sure Jerry walked into one of those meetings and was like, he's out of here. Somebody said, well, hold on. Just look at the times we're in. Yeah. This won't be the right imagery we want on the team. Right. Yeah. So I'm just saying, but I think this year, all that is done because he's had enough time. You got 8 seasons. And if God forbid he do what he did last year, like there's no, everybody can be like, you got it. Like if you get rid of him, we understand. Like nobody can pull nothing and say nothing because it's that.
Yeah. Gotcha. So there's the Prescott stats right here.
Yeah. It would just be like shout out to Avengers Infinity War of 2018. It would just be like the blip, baby. It would just be like it would just Dallas. Somebody would snap their fingers and the whole of Dallas would just be gone. Like I don't think Dak would be the only one that would suffer the consequence. I think there'd be a couple other pieces to fall.
Coach is gone.
Oh no. Yeah.
They'll use that to clean house. Yeah, they'll use that to clean house. Like don't touch that defense do this season too and all that, man. Out.
Don't touch that defense. That defense is
no.
The
defense
really,
will now become
really
the thing.
Good.
Michael, he's in.
Yeah.
So,
you're right about that.
Yeah. So,
I think Michael Parsons is going to be the highest paid defensive player in the NFL.
When it comes his turn, he should be. He'll. Would I pay him or Bosa more? I probably pay Micah Parsons more. I think Micah Parsons does more.
He does more.
He does more.
Parsons does.
He plays all over the field.
But here's the deal. But then you don't have no money for your quarterback, right? This is a quarterback-driven league, right? Think about that. Because even if you get rid of that,
that's why you got to draft the young
Trey
quarterback.
Lance can't replace him. Trey Lance
Trey Lance is going to be coming up for a new contract soon anyway. Remember, they got to decide if they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option, I'm sure. Or actually, I guess that would have already came up, I would imagine. But either way, like he's gonna be on his 2nd contract very soon. So they're easily just taking a flyer on him, and whether or not they want to go any further with him, we'll see. But it's all about drafting a young quarterback and finding your guy in the draft now, because if you can draft a young guy with the way that the salary cap is, if you can draft your quarterback, that gives you all the money to fix the rest of the team while your quarterback is still young. So
because you don't have to pay him all that money.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Thanks to what was his name on the Raiders? What was his name? I don't know why I'm blanking. The big brother. I think he played for Alabama. You know what I'm talking about?
You talking about the quarterback?
Yeah, he was a big bust. Like they gave him.
Oh, LSU, Jamarcus Cousins.
Yes,
Jamarcus Russell.
Yes.
Jamarcus Russell.
Jamarcus Russell.
That's DeMarcus Cousins. Jamarcus Russell.
Because of that contract and what it did to the Raiders, the league changed it where you couldn't pay rookie quarterbacks, all that gajillion dollars. He was the last one to get.
He broke the process. He broke it.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. And he made out like a fat rat.
Yeah.
Like for real. Yeah. But anyway, I digress. But yeah, it's gonna be it would be interesting because they're gonna have to put their ducks in a new quarterback that's coming out, out of college, or pay somebody a gajillion dollars to come, because you have to now. The quarterback market is so high. Whack quarterbacks gonna make 80 million. Ask Daniel Dimes. Like what it is. I should go play quarterback. Get me some money.
Great. I'll play your center. No problem.
Yeah.
All you got to do is snap the ball, right? I just got to pass the ball to you.
That's right. All I got to do is throw it. That's what Gene said. Just throw the ball.
That's what I mean. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, you must be muted.
Because that comeback.
I said if you're a running back, all you got to do is run with the ball. That's a lot easier.
That's right.
You don't have to be. There's no accuracy with running the ball. You just got to grab the ball and just not get hit. Just run away from everybody. Just run away from everybody. It's easy. Tony Dorsett said the reason why he was so good is because he was afraid to get hit. Tony Dorsett once said that the reason why I'm so good and why it's hard to tackle me is because I don't want to get tackled. I fear getting tackled. So
I believe that.
Yeah,
he played at a time when you actually could hit.
Yeah, and he was a smaller back.
Yeah.
So what do you guys got for your breakout wide receivers this year? Let's switch over to some wide receivers. Who's going to be one of these breakout guys this year that we didn't hear about last year much, or we knew was on the rise but not here yet? Who's arriving this year, wide receiver wise?
Oh,
and is Garrett Wilson? Is he too obvious?
No,
because I think Garrett Wilson is going to be a top 5 receiver in the league by the end of this year.
I don't
think he's talked about only because Aaron Rodgers is there.
Yeah.
And it's the only reason why I'm saying it. If he had Zach Wilson as his quarterback again, he'd be good, but not great. I think he's going to go into the category of great this year.
Okay. Well, I got 2. I got one. And
I know one's going to be. I know one of them is going to be the homer pick, but I agree with it. So you go right ahead.
You're not wrong. One's going to be one. Okay, I'll give you 2, and I have an honorable mention. So.
Go ahead.
Yes, 100% George Pickens. There's no doubt in my mind.
He's scary good.
Yes. And the thing is, it's like we all know it's almost proven that the Pittsburgh Steelers will burn you with a receiver and will come out of and they will create a receiver. They always do produce receivers.
They don't get guys. They never get guys in the first round. They bring them from the 3rd, 4th, 5th round and make gems.
Yeah, out of nowhere. So there's that. So he's coming from great pedigree in terms of who's been before him, who will likely come after him. The guy's an acrobatic freak. Like we've seen some of the highlight reels. Not only, and it's not like it was just preseason or practice. Like he did some of the stuff last season. He's only got better at it.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, Nigel. He's gonna double his stats this year.
I don't
pull up his stats real quick
it.
again, Patty. Put up his stats. I'm gonna guarantee he's had 52 catches last year. He's gonna have over 100 catches this year. He had 800 yards. Maybe he won't double that, but he's gonna have about 13 to 16.
Yeah, he'll get over 1,000. I'll take the over on that for sure. 100%. So he will become the number 1 guy, if not number 1 already. Like because we're gonna go by committee. Like the Steelers will throw by committee. I think that's what Pickett's plan is. But I think if we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, legit, Pickens is gonna be the number 1. And on top of that, I mean, the guy just crushed towards the end of his first year. Like he only got better. You know what I mean? So he'll finish out this season, second season, as the undoubted number 1. Pickett is going to have a great season, which I will talk about later. So George Pickens is my pick, and my honorable mention goes to Jahan Dotson. Okay. Jahan Dotson of the Washington Commanders.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I can see that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because
he's got all the tools.
Yeah, he's got all the tools. Apparently, him and Sam Howell, like the quarterback, have been developing a really great relationship in the offseason. The guy came off an explosive 12 games, as a rookie. So it's like, why not? And every once in a while, the Commanders are in the conversation. Every once in a while, they have individual players that you do want to have on your fantasy team. I think Dotson might be one of those, 3rd round picks that you're gonna stash away, and next thing you know, he's gonna have a blockbuster season. So that's Jahan Dotson is my honorable mention.
There you go. Also, you know what? Let's not forget Christian Watson in Green Bay. I like him a lot. He came on big time at the end of the year last year. Started off slow, had some injuries, I believe, in the beginning of the season, missed some time, and then went on to basically maybe be the most productive receiver second half of the season with Aaron Rodgers over there in Green Bay. And it wasn't just good for a rookie receiver. It was just good for a receiver in general. He was making huge play after huge play. So he's another guy I think we got to look out for as far as that breakout wide receiver. Who do you got, Caleb?
Well, okay. Who I like is okay. So who I think is going to have a breakout season, I think it's going to be Josh Palmer from the Chargers. And I know because I've been there. I've been watching them in practice, seeing it.
He went deep dive.
He did. None of us can claim that. None of us can claim that.
He's their third. But everybody, Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, that's all everybody think. And they're who they are. But when you have that, that's when you get to shine because all the defenses can on those dudes. And so you're getting a lot of one-on-one matchups against the third best corner, fourth best corner, sometimes a safety, stuff like that. Or God forbid, a linebacker. Toast, right? So I think he'll start getting a lot of looks in things that that people aren't expecting because everybody's worried about the big guns. Everybody knows Justin Herbert, everybody's on that, but I think he'll have a really good shot. And then there's one more guy who I think is going to shine. He's on the Bills. His name is Deontay Henry. Why do I know that? Because I use him in Madden. And I be killing them. Everybody's focusing on Diggs.
First of all, why are you playing with the Bills, man? The Jets. Your favorite quarterback is on the Jets.
They're nasty. They are nasty. But I use the Jets playbook. Okay. But listen, Josh Allen is nasty in that game. Oh my God. Anyway, I digress. But I'm telling you, Deontay Henry and Josh Palmer are my two picks. Like on teams that get shine, which is why I think they'll have the opportunity because they're going to be in the big games. They're going to get the cameras, but they're looking for the other people. They're looking at Gabe Davis. They're looking at Stephon Diggs. They're not looking at Henry, right? Same thing with Palmer. And on the Chargers, they're looking at Mike Williams. They're looking over at Keenan Allen. They're not looking for Palmer. So he'll be able to come through. And I'm telling you, a couple third down catches to get the first down, possession catches, stuff like that. And then it'll start going. Because once they start building their confidence, because that's also a thing too. And Nigel can probably attest to this as a receiver, that once you start catching, because you also start to believe it. You're like, yo, because you tell yourself you're good. You have to, right? Yeah. But then when you start seeing it and knowing it, and it starts to become the people around you are you start to walk with that swagger, and you get an opportunity to make a serious catch in a situation or do something like Odell Beckham's life changed with one catch.
Yep.
With one hand, because he did that, his entire trajectory of his career changed. With one catch. That's how it is in this league. So I'm looking to see what those two guys do this season.
Amen. Hey, listen, man. I flaunt him because I got it in my 2-hand touch league on the weekends. If I make one catch against a team, I'm like, oh, you guys are done for the day. It's a wrap. It's like I'll make it, and then I just become the go-to, right? But to your point, Caleb, that's a very, very good point. All it takes is either that possession call that's for you specifically, or that third down, which is kind of crucial.
Yeah.
It just takes that one catch at the right time. And it could be just a 1st and 5, a very routine. It could be very easy, or not 1st and 5, sorry, a 2nd and 5 or something very easy and routine. It could be that a short yardage, but just the way that you carry yourself, the route that you run, the way that you toast the DB or the safety. Then the offensive coach sees that, quarterback sees that. It's you know what?
That's what I'm going to say is it's all about getting the quarterback's confidence.
Yeah, man.
And
that
confidence
read changes.
And your whole world changes.
Yep. So. That's what I'm saying. And it's and those guys have the opportunity because they have to key on the other dudes. You got to key on Diggs and Davis. You have to. Yeah. So that's going to leave Henry a little bit more in one-on-one situations and stuff like that. So, Sauce Gardner's not going to guard him. You see what I mean? Yeah. So you got an opportunity. So and the other best, what's the guy on the other corner? I forgot his name. You said him yesterday. I mean on Tuesday.
On the Jets?
Yes.
Reed?
Reed. Reed's not gonna guard him either.
No,
Reed's on Davis.
You're gonna get the slot guy.
You know what I mean?
The nickelback.
So, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So that's what I mean. Those opportunities. So yeah, you'll get it.
So on from who's going to be the breakout wide receiver, who's going to be the breakout quarterback this year? Who's going to be one of the quarterbacks that comes up out of nowhere? And I feel like we should just start with Nigel because I know where Nigel's going to go with this one too.
You know what? You're wrong. You are actually wrong. However, he is my honorable mention. But
he shouldn't be. He should actually be. I think he's going to have a huge year, but we'll get to that.
I agree. I agree. But I'm going to take another leap of faith. I'm going to go all in on Jordan Love. I don't know what it is and I've told you guys this too, over the last couple of weeks, for some reason, just like the rumblings and just seeing a little bit more tape. Like the guy's got a laser arm, first of all, which is huge. And we saw a little bit of his, he flexed a little bit of his muscles in terms of, hey man, I've been sitting behind, Aaron Rodgers for 3 seasons. So I can see reads, like I can see where my receivers are going to be because he's been playing with some of those receivers too. So his precision seems to be on point, right? Like he's putting it in places that vets are doing it. Like I don't want to say like Tom Brady's peak was unbelievable. Like there's no way any DB or safety could get to where he was throwing the ball. I'm not saying he has that, but I'm saying you could see glimpses of it. You can just see how he learned, right? He's got 3 years behind him. He was also put in all kinds of situations over the seasons before Aaron Rodgers left where it was crucial, man. It was like Rodgers goes out for whatever reason. This guy's in the trenches and it's an emergency and he's there. So he's got a little bit of that experience. The only thing I think that's holding him back is the fact that he's got a young cast, right? A lot of the receivers that are around him are young. So it's going to be a learning curve for everybody. But I think Jordan Love might be that guy. And maybe I'm just trying to will this into existence because I don't want to see him crash and burn as much as people or fans might just assume because he's coming to back up. He's coming from the backup. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So he's my number one. Honorable mention, here it is. My boy Kenny Pickett, baby, for sure. There's no doubt.
He had a tremendous camp.
Yeah, man. Tremendous camp. I mean, the guy, you could see him learning. You could see him learning on the job last season. You saw it happening. And also, one of these huge benefits is that my guy is a hometown kid. There's a difference. I mean, that could be a good thing or a very bad thing.
It's a lot of pressure, too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It could be a bad thing. But it can help because the people of Pittsburgh are very loyal. They're very loyal. Very rarely do you see the fans turn suit on players. Very, very rarely. Like it's not a common thing. So I think through and through, until he starts to make some wicked mistakes, this guy's here for the long haul, man. And then let's just look at the cast around him: Jaylen Warren, George Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Vermouth. Like it's just he's got a great setup. So he's been set up to succeed. So I just hope that, we do another, we get another winning season out of him and then see what happens in following years to come. But he's my honorable mention, Kenny Pickett.
I love the Kenny Pickett pick. That'd be one of the ones that Kenny Pickett pick. It's hard to say. That would be one of the guys that I would go with. Obviously, I would say Sam Darnold just because I've been saying him. And he hasn't broken out yet, so this would be a breakout for him. Sure. But I'm also going to say Desmond Ridder. I think Desmond Ridder has the weapons down there in Atlanta to really impress some people this year. Decent offensive line, tremendous running attack over there between the guy they drafted this year, Robinson, Algier, who they got last year, Drake London, Kyle Pitts, which I think we're still waiting for Kyle Pitts to really have his breakout, really like his monster season. I think that happens this year. I think him and Desmond Ridder really put together a nice season. But Desmond Ridder is one of these guys that I think he's got all the tools. He needed the weapons. I think the weapons are there for him right now. Another year in the league for Drake London. I don't see why Desmond Ridder can't be a breakout star this year. Do I have them going far in the playoffs? No, I have them making the playoffs because I'm winning that division just by a hair over New Orleans. Probably a one and done, but it's all about the learning process for Desmond Ridder. I think this is his first step into being a good quarterback. I don't know if he'll ever be great, but he'll be a upper tier quarterback. I think upper half of the league, quality quarterback after this season. So I think this is the year that he has a little bit of a breakout. People start to know his name a little bit after this year. Caleb, what do you got?
I think there's a few of them that I think are going to perform well. The one thing I say, of course, the Kenny Pickett, of course, that I really think, he will. And I just noticed he was born June 6, 1998. That's the day I graduated high school.
It's my grandfather's birthday.
He was born.
Oh, you mean even the year? I think you meant it's the date.
No. June 6, 1998 was the day he was born. And that's the day I graduated high school. I'm like, damn.
Ouch.
I guess I'm old now. But anyway, I expect him. But you know what I think? C.J. Stroud. I expect C.J. Stroud.
Right off the jump, huh?
Yeah, I do. And I also expect Bryce Young. Because these dudes, they don't get no chance to like get acclimated to the water. They're right in. They're getting thrown right in. So I expect them to to perform well. I expect Stroud a little bit more than Young, only because Young is a lot smaller and the NFL is 3 times as fast as they do in college. Like, I just feel like it's just going to be different for him. Stroud, I think, is more built and more ready for the NFL game because he's taller, because he's bigger, and he has that cannon for an arm. He doesn't have as good of accuracy, but I just think
you can learn that.
Right, exactly. So I'm expecting them. And I also think, even though I know people would say Justin Fields had it last year, but no, he had it as a running quarterback. Like he was running everywhere.
Yeah,
but
I agree with you on that.
I think he's going to have one as a quarterback where he's going to be throwing the football and running. He's going to be able to mix it. He'll have one of those Mike Vick seasons, one of those Lamar Jacksons. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think all of those guys are going to do something. But if I had to just pick one, I would have to say, obviously, it's Kenny Pickett. But I think C.J. Stroud down in Texas will do something.
The one thing I think they need to do next offseason is get Stroud some weapons, because that's the one thing that they lack. They have a good running back over there with Dameon Pierce, but not really anything to speak about receiver-wise. I think you'll see them. I think that's what you're going to see them do next year, is say, okay, let's get some receivers for this, for when you go and invest your money in a Jaguar, you're going to want to make sure you have all the parts you need and everything that you need to keep it running smoothly. One of the ways you're going to keep your quarterback running smoothly is you're going to set up that offensive line, which is already pretty decent. They have a decent offensive line, but you need to get them some weapons, so some guys you can throw the ball to. I think you're going to see them do an upheaval on the offensive side of the ball next year, and maybe 1 or 2 weapons for him just next year alone. So whatever he does this year, I expect the following year. For me, he'd be my breakout star the following year, only because of what weapons he has. Only because of the weapons, because I think he's going to show that he's worthy of being in the league this year. I think he'll play well this league in the league as a rookie this year. But I think that his breakout seasons is the following season, only for the sake that he's got no weapons.
That makes sense.
That's my thought on that. So all right, over to the Jets. They got 2-star running backs. Who's leading the team in rushing? Is it going to be Breece Hall or is it going to be Dalvin Cook?
It will be Breece, because they're going to make him run between the tackles. So he'll have more shots at the ball. But Cook will get the bigger runs. He'll get the 10, the 15s, the 20-yard breaks. But they won't be as consistent. Dalvin is not going to be an every down back. Breece Hall will be.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think Breece Hall is going to be the every down back. It might not be for the first couple of weeks, but I think by like week 4, he's your every down back.
Mm-hmm.
What do you bet, Nigel?
Because they got Cook. I'm sorry, just real quick. I think they picked up Cook not as to be a running back, to be more slash style, running back. Make him a receiver. Make him go out and like you know what I mean. You know how like some teams will do it where when they have this guy in, it's a run.
Send him out wide.
This guy in, he's gonna most likely it's gonna be a pass out the backfield, like that kind of thing. I would love,
and I hope they can have some running plays where they're both on the field at the same time.
Oh, they will, because they want to confuse the defense. Well, if they're smart, they will. To make the defense say, wait a minute, which one is it? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What do you think, Nigel? You on the agreement, or do you think it's going to be Dalvin Cook?
I wish it was Dalvin Cook, to be honest with you. I'd love to see him. I just love the way he played with Minnesota. Like, there was something about his game. It just how he ran, kind of like I don't know if this is accurate or not, but I mean, and also Adrian Peterson, but just like that feel, like that kind of like style I like. And I just feel like that would be something that would work with the Jets. Now, I'm coming from the angle that I know Dalvin Cook more than I know Breece, because I was watching other teams. I wasn't so jet heavy now that I've known you guys for the last 4 months. You know what I mean? So now that I know, Breece Hall, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, man, I get it. I understand. But I think at the end of the day, I think both of you chaps are right. I think it's Breece Hall is going to be your everyday. He's going to be your everyday for sure. And then Dalvin Cook's going to, he'll do some dirty work, if not confuse the defense, which is going to be wicked. Like, it's going to be great to see the two out there, because then you don't, again, to confuse the defense, like Caleb said, you don't know what they're going to do, and the defense is going to have to shift drastically. So I think it's exciting. But
don't let Aaron teach Breece how to throw a 10-yard pass, because then it's nasty. They hand him the ball and he passes it to Dalvin Cook out the back. Like, I'm telling you, like, you never know, man.
That'll happen. That'll happen at least once. I've
seen it.
You never know. All right, so guys, who's gonna have the number one defense in the NFL this year?
San Francisco,
hands down.
Because it's between them, the Eagles, and Dallas. But I think it's Frisco
and the Jets
but I don't think the Jets will have it. And,
I don't think so either.
And the Eagles, we might, but I never like jinxing my boys, so I'm gonna put that on the Niners. I think the Niners will.
What about you, Nige?
I'm gonna have to go Niners. I feel like now with Bosa back, I feel like that does a lot. You ever been in a situation, and this doesn't have to be sports related, but like when you're part of a team or a group, and one pivotal piece of that group or team is missing, and then when they show up, it changes the vibe, and I think that's what it is. They haven't even started the job yet. That job starts tonight, but they haven't even started that yet. But I feel like the vibe is just now. I can just imagine what that locker room would be like. Like, oh, okay, you know. And it's So I just feel like there's a huge vibe check. Bosa's back, which just adds to the already dangerous defense. And I just think it's them now, man.
If it wasn't for Bosa being back, I think I would have went Dallas.
I could agree.
Because I agree with you guys. I say it's San Francisco. I think if it wasn't for Bosa being back, I think I would have went Dallas.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be Dallas only because they're going to be on the field too much.
Oh, this is a great point. That was something else I wanted to say, and I got caught up in my own thing. But I think you're right. I think not only and Caleb, as you were gone, I was just saying that Bosa now was like the vibe check, right? So now the defense is like, oh, snap, he's back. It's like, when you're losing that war, it's like, let me put it in Hasbro G.I. Joe terms, like when G.I. Joe's losing a Cobra and all of a sudden Sergeant Slaughter shows up with the Renegades, you know what I mean? All of a sudden it's like, yo, there's hope. Or like Gandalf comes over the hill, and you guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah, but
I've never seen that movie.
It's that you need to see Lord of the Rings is sick.
Never seen any of them.
Yeah, well, we have to talk after this. But it's that, and my point is that the San Francisco 49ers defense feeds so well off of their offense and vice versa that's the bigger problem, as opposed to other teams. You can see that their units are very separate. Like it just feels like they're separate. They're not high-fiving as much. The check isn't there as much. But San Fran, you could see it throughout the season. Philly's got it too, but San Fran just has a better defense. You could see the camaraderie there and the teamwork there, and that's what's going to make them the number one defense.
What do you guys think about the Commanders? Where do you think the Commanders finish in as far as the team defense this year? I feel like they're going to be one of these unsung teams. People aren't going to expect them to do well on defense.
What? Top 20.
You think that low?
Yeah, they're not going to be a top 10 defense. I don't think so.
They got a really
they'll
good
be on the field line. Too much.
No love for Sam Howell?
No. The same dude that was complaining that he finally got a coach. Hey, this guy, he's mean.
Well, it's settled down. It's settled down.
He's making us practice.
I'm gonna go north of that. I think they'll be top 10 because they got a fast secondary
and a really stout defensive line.
Yeah, so
they had some linebackers that now you're talking about a really good defense.
Yeah, which I think is where they're the weakest at, is in the linebackers area. So I think they'll finish north of 20. I think they'll go top 10 for sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I think they could finish at 10. Like I say, top 10, but
of all these teams, I'm like, yo, okay.
I'm thinking I could see them finishing in the 8 to 12 range.
Are they better than Detroit's defense?
You know what? Detroit was so bad on defense last year that they fixed a lot of it this year. I need to see if the parts that they brought in work first.
Better than the Steelers.
No, not better than the Steelers.
Steelers better than the Packers.
I think they're better than Detroit's. I'll tell you why. Because I think the advantage of playing, this is really cheesy, and maybe it's science, maybe it's just me speaking out of my butt, but playing on grass as opposed to playing on turf, I think that it's easy to make the switch to play from grass to turf than it is turf to grass. Like the difference is just very minute, but I think the Commanders just have a little bit more of a edge just because of that.
You guys hear that? These two cats are fighting literally like a foot outside my screen.
No, I thought you were talking about us. Because you're like, do you guys hear that? These two cats. I was like, oh, you talking about us?
No. Literally two felines are fighting right now, right? Literally like right here.
Funny. No,
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
One's on the ledge and one's on the edge of my desk, and they're like hissing and going after each other. I was sure if you guys could hear it.
No, I couldn't hear a thing. That's really funny.
Look, it's Winston Bishop.
Oh, classic Winston.
All right, classic Winston. All right, guys. Colorado with a big win against TCU. Are they for real? Are we going to see them compete for a national title?
No.
Are they going to? Wait. Are they? No, I don't mean it. I jumped the gun. I asked that question incorrectly. Don't jump at me. Will they at least be in contention? Will they be? Could they be by the end of the season a contender
for a national title?
I'm not saying they're going to win it, but are they one of those
teams? Not even close.
Where do you think they finish?
For playoff, they don't make the four. No.
Where do you think they finish in the top what?
They'll do great in there. Go ahead, Nigel.
Yeah, they're going to finish in the top rich is what they'll finish in. And the reason why I say the top rich is because their tickets right now, and I'm on the ESPN site, their tickets right now, because this game, Nebraska and Colorado, which is a massive game, by the way. Colorado is ranked number 22, but this is huge because these are the two.
They weren't even ranked last week. They weren't even ranked last week.
Yeah, right. Because two of these head coaches, this is the most controversy surrounding both of these coaches, and their teams are doing well. The lowest price ticket, it seems like, is $269 USD. That's the lowest price at Colorado. And they went 1-11 or whatever the thing was last year.
You know what? Real quick, tell me you're Canadian without saying you're Canadian. $259 USD.
The only reason why I do that is because when I buy my action figures, it's all in USD, bro. So I got to... When I buy the exclusives, I'm always like, oh, but I got to convert that, man, because what's the Canadian dollar worth? Is it worth it? The answer is always yes. Oh, not so much. Anyways, I just want to put that point out there. So they're just going to end up rich no matter what. Caleb, go on and hit them with some science.
No, I was just saying that I don't think they're going to national title. No, they're not going to be in that. Like, they're going to do well. You know what I mean? They're going to outperform. They already outperformed what people thought they would do.
Yeah.
Them beating TCU everything.
That's a fun offense to watch, man. I enjoyed that game. That was one of my favorite offenses to watch in college football. I could call in the last 2 years. That was a fun game to watch.
Right, but there's levels. Now, they might be able to compete for a national title in 3 seasons or something. Deion has to create the system.
You think it's going to take 3 seasons? I think by next year they're competing for a national title. I'm not saying they're going to win it. I think they're a top 10 team next year.
SEC is too strong. Hell no.
Which maybe helps pad their wins being out in another conference.
Right.
And,
Right. I don't see that, but I do expect them to do well in their division. I expect them to perform well, and they're going to lose a couple games. They're not, you know what I mean? It's like
people forget though.
They're not going to go 14-0.
No, I don't think so either.
And all that. No.
Their defense, and the main reason why is their defense did let up 42 points. So their defense they need to fix that defense. But people forget one of the things that makes the SEC so damn good is that they get the top of the line recruits. Everybody at the top of the line recruits go there, and they don't really look at the rest of the countries. Colorado brought in some top of the line recruits, type of recruits that the SEC usually get.
Yeah.
Yes.
He brought over to Colorado.
Hey, but let's remember.
That's why I'm saying that's why I think they can compete. Typically, Colorado wouldn't have that type of exposure.
But remember,
they got the players that Alabama.
But let's remember how he got that, and that is because of the transfer portal, right? Like, they dipped in the most out of any team in the NCAA, I believe, and on the offseason. So without that transfer portal, which is, this kind of conversation, this point I'm making is kind of mute because, it's new. It's like 3 years, 3 seasons old or whatever. But like without it, the Colorado still might have been where they were before. They used to be a competitive program about a decade ago to the point where you're just like, okay, they were around, but they were nothing like this. Also, I just want to make sure that everybody knows that Travis Hunter, this kid played both ways. I don't know if you can do that. You can't sustain that for a season.
No,
you can't. College season? Are you crazy?
It was hard enough to sustain in the one game.
Yeah. Yeah,
you look over at him sometimes. He was gassed. Listen, he still played his heart out.
He balled,
but he was gassed on something. But you see him just breathing heavy and whatnot.
Yeah. So I just think there's a lot of things that were just very heightened and very extreme, and yes, made for probably one of the best Week 1 college football games the world has ever seen. It was absolutely fantastic. The stakes couldn't have been any higher, especially with everything leading up to it and having Deion there. The fact that they won is wild. You know what I mean? There was no defense, obviously, because this is a 90-point game. But then and I don't want to dip into it too heavy, but all the the racial comments and the things that happened after the game from it, just the whole thing was just so intense and heightened that this is a game that we're going to talk about for decades to come. And I just hope that the outcome is more wins for Colorado. But as of this season, as of right now, no way they're playing for the national championship. I think maybe they get as high as 15. I just don't think that they have everything that they can to sustain. And Caleb said it, man. I mean, they're in the Pac-10. Come on. I mean, maybe they'll win that bowl, but that's
they'll do that. I can see that, but now, no, sir.
I think by next year that they are, and I think they're going to shock a few more teams this year too.
Sure, yeah.
It's plausible. I mean, but national title, I don't think so.
So that's going to pretty much almost do it for the show. But before we wrap, do you want to talk about the Adesanya fight at all? I know that's your. Are you prepped for that?
Good. I mean, I want to see it. Well, I see everything, so of course that. But it's going to be interesting because Sean Strickland is a wild man. What I mean is like the way that he fights, so he can catch anybody. Yeah. But I already seen him get stretched by Adesanya's rival, Alex Pereira. Like knocked him out like cold. Didn't knock him out cold, but like dropped him and beat like it was bad in the first round. So I'm like, I don't know if Strickland. I know he's not on the level of striking that Izzy is, so I don't expect him to win. Now anything can happen, but I highly doubt it. So, but it's going to be fun. Sean talks the best trash. He clowns Izzy for his painted nails and all of that stuff. He wears shirts that say cancel me because he's going to say all the things that would get you canceled, but he's a fighter. Fighters can't get canceled because they're fighters. So it's like you can say whatever you want. You're going to go in there and fight. People tend to leave fighters alone.
Yeah.
So there's that. But it should be a good the card is okay. It's not the best. So, it'll be all right. It would have been better had it been Dricus Duplessis who Izzy called out and was trying to get there, but Dricus said he's injured and doesn't want to take the fight. I'm like, okay, you know what I mean? Like you talk all that mess, but then when it comes to it, now all of a sudden you got a hangnail and I'm playing tennis on the moon and all that kind of stuff. I got back surgery. It's like you got all these excuses. So it's gonna be it should be fun. But I'm looking to see what Izzy does with Sean and all that. I expect him to win. He should win, but anything can happen. So. There's that.
We also got the Tyson Fury fight coming up soon too.
Yeah, that's gonna be. Did
you see him on ESPN this morning?
Yeah,
cursing up a storm.
That's how he talks. But he's brave.
I love how they kept it moving though. They didn't even say oh. They just kept it moving. They didn't even say anything.
He's the heavyweight champion of the world. You gonna tell him to watch his mouth? He said, "How about I punch you in it? Then we'll see."
I want him and O'Malley at the same time. Wait, that's what I meant. I didn't mean it like that, but you know what I meant.
I don't know what you meant. It sounded like exactly what you said. He sounded exactly what you said you wanted.
I mean, say what you meant without saying what you meant.
I mean in the ring.
No, I know what you mean. But yeah, it was funny. I like Fury. I don't think he's the best fighter. I think he gets way more like respect. Like I think he's actually a terrible boxer. Like the way he fights,
how he wins fights, I don't know. He's just a bruiser.
I always say it because he's 6'9", 300 pounds, and he lays on you, and he's got all this reach. He's a huge man. But if you've ever seen Me, Myself, and Irene, it's a Jim Carrey movie. I'm a big Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
But there's a scene where he's at the gas station and he gets in a fight with these guys, and he's like doing all that. That's exactly how Tyson looks in the ring. It's hilarious, man. I don't know how he does it, but he does. So it's going to be good to see him against Francis. Do I expect Francis to win? Hell no, because Tyson is it's different when you're used to be able to use your knees, your elbows, grab them, and you can't. It's really like a hand behind your back. But Francis has dynamite, and we all know Tyson can't take clean shots on the chin. He will go down, right? So if he gets lucky and catches them, it could be really bad because he can't allow. See, the thing with Francis, you can't say, "Ooh, here comes the punch. I'm gonna take." I don't know if you want to take it because it could. You don't know how powerful that's going to be and how your body's going to react to getting hit by that dude who used to carry sandbags as a little kid in Cameroon, Africa, carrying sandbags and throwing them. That's why he's so strong. I'm dead serious. He talked about that. Like, that was his life. So it's just a different type of man. But when it comes to the skill for skill, there's no comparison. Tyson with all this herky jerk is going to beat him. He can't, you know what I mean? Like he just can't. And who knows how many rounds. Hopefully it's not 12 or something like that.
I think it's only a 10-round fight.
So
10 rounds.
So that's cool. You know what I mean? But it's just different. So I don't expect Francis to win. But Francis already won because he's making $30 million.
Yeah, he's making a boatload.
So he already won. That's all he wanted anyway. The reason why he's doing this is to show Dana his value, that he's worth money. Because Dana's like, I'm not paying you what he wanted. Francis is like, I'm worth this. Dana's like, no, you're not. Your name is not Conor McGregor or Izzy Adesanya or Sugar Sean O'Malley now. So I'm not paying you that. Your numbers don't value that. Cool. So he goes and fights a dude, gets $30 million off the rip, and gonna get a boost from that. Now, when he goes back to MMA, you got to pay him more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
now he won't need the money as much, right? Because he got 30 million, after taxes and all that. Still, it's way more money. It's more money for one fight than he did in his entire MMA career.
Yeah, you can't blame him for that.
No, of course not. You got to take the money when you can.
So with the Adesanya fight, who do you got winning?
Oh, of course I got Izzy. I don't think Sean can beat. That is Sean Strickland. I don't think Sean can beat him. No.
All right. Well,
but anybody,
any given Sunday, as they say.
That's right. I don't expect it to. I would be shocked if he was to beat Izzy.
I hear you. I would probably, more than I do, but I would say I would probably take Adesanya in this fight as well.
Yeah.
I always feel like he's one of those guys you don't bet against Adesanya.
So. No, not with these ones. Like Strickland is not as disciplined. Like I just don't see him being able to do it. That's why Dricus didn't take the fight, because Dricus is like, wait a minute, but I got to get ready. Like, forget all this trash talk. I still got to fight you. Like, that's the one thing I love about that is, like, they know. They could say all this. Yeah. But they know, like, hey, I got to, you know what I mean? Like, I got to focus. Yeah. Like, this dude is good. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, so it's going to be, it should be interesting to see.
Definitely. So, guys, that's going to do it for today's show. Tune in next week. We'll be talking about week 1 of the NFL. We'll recap the Adesanya fight. I won't be here, but Nigel Downer will be in my seat, taking care of business. Mm-hmm. But make sure you come in on Tuesday. And with that, last words of the day, last words of the week. Nigel Downer, last words of the week.
Oh my goodness, we got the FIBA World Cup. So we got basketball. It is happening, and it's the semifinals. On one side, you have Canada versus Serbia. The Joker's on that team, y'all. And on the other side, you have the United States of America playing Germany. Listen, if that's not like a World War something, then I don't know. I don't know what it is. So that's huge. So my last word is like, yo, make sure you watch that FIBA stuff. It is early though, so likely all of us on the East Coast, these games are at like 4 or 5 a.m. for these semifinals. So we'll have to wake up and see who's who, and if we get what we want. I mean, if I get what I want, it's Canada versus USA, because then that'll be a real showdown. Other than that, you know what? Today I am not. Oh, I was gonna say it, but I was gonna say I'm not gonna. But today I am. There's a hat drop at 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. So I'm buying the hat today. Enjoy the day, y'all.
And there's some good soccer on today. Everyone, today's a really good day for some soccer. They got a lot of the. I know on Fox Sports they got a lot of the international games. I believe some of the qualifying tournaments to get into the World Cup, if I remember correctly, for the the Men's World Cup. So if you're a soccer fan, today's the day to keep in tune with what's going on the soccer field. This cat behind me, and now he's fighting this. Now he's fighting the one there's another cat behind me. He's fighting this one. Caleb, last words of the week.
You know what's interesting? Nigel was talking about the game. The game's coming on so early. These other organizations need to copy what the UFC does. No matter where they fight in the world, Dana says the fight comes on at 7 p.m. West Coast time, 10 p.m. East Coast. Mm-hmm. So I don't care if you're fighting at 1 a.m. I don't care if it's 3 p.m, wherever y'all at, but it's coming on at this time, because that's where my fan base is expecting it. Yeah. So they should be doing that, putting these games in prime time so the people that are watching it can see them. You know what I mean? Instead of watching on replay or on Sports Center, you get the, you know what I mean? Because they're coming on at times in an ungodly hour, as my mom would say. So that's my bone to pick there. But look, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. You know, spread love is the Brooklyn way. We'll see y'all next week.
Yeah.
Guys, have a great today, a better weekend, and we will see you on Tuesday. Have a fun opening weekend of the NFL, guys.
It's happening tonight.
Go Eagles.
Go Steelers.
That's the pop off for today, folks. Thank you to all of our listeners, as well as our producers, Patty Puddles and Fareed Kameo. And make sure you tune in tomorrow to hear what these hooligans will pop off about next.